started.
Okay, I got a game against Anton Strad 2, so I think it's time for an English opening. And let's set up the fianchetto. Get the knight out. So we're going after the light squares here. And we'll see how black sets up. So black is set up like it's a King's Indian. I can play e4 here. e5, okay. So this is going to be a Botvinnik setup. Haven't played one of those in a while. And I could play d5. I mean d4, and just open up the center, but I'm going to play a little more modestly with d3. Now, where I want to play the bishop to e3, so I will prepare that by playing h3 to keep the knight out of g4, and he's advancing his b pawn here, or preparing to. Okay, so that knight is looking at the light squares. That's actually kind of interesting. I think I'm going to kick it away. Where is it going after I just play pawn to b4 here? These squares are not available. So he's going back, I guess. Thing is, I wanted to play queen d2 and bishop to h6, and if he trades, it pulls my queen away from defense of d3 here, which is a weak point. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe bishop h6 isn't even such a great idea. Well, let's lift the queen up off the back rank anyway. Bishop to h6 would be a good idea if I plan to play at some point d4 and open up this diagonal. But let's not commit to that just yet. Maybe knight to d5 is the plan here. Knight to d5, and if he takes, I can take with the c pawn and get maybe some pressure on c7 here. He can always put a knight in this square, the d4 square. I've sort of given control of that to black. Knight here, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. Yeah, I guess actually he needs this knight out of the way, so his bishop will support the pawn on d4. Okay, so I'm going in with knight to d5. It seems like the way to make progress here. I mean, another idea would be to play f5, but this seems like a reasonable way to play as well. And now he can play knight there, and he does. So I could try and win that with a move like rook here, but he can play bishop. So rook to c4, he has bishop to b5. f4 is interesting, because if he takes, then this knight is loose. Okay, and he does have this idea of coming in here to b3, forking the queen and rook, but it's guarded by the a2 pawn. But that's important to keep track of if I'm ever tempted to move the a pawn forward. I think f4 is the move here, which is one of the ideas in this position anyway. It's the break move, and I have half-open c-file. He has to defend the c-pawn.
Check.
Okay, so he just gives up his fine knight. And how do I want to take back? With the bishop to put more pressure here. Taking with the bishop would allow, but I think taking with the pawn is better. If I want to push the pawns in the center, it's nice to have this pawn on f4 and maybe even a pawn on d4, and then play for e5 and the central break. And I just have to be careful. This bishop is now a very active piece. I have to be careful it doesn't come to life on this diagonal and cause me trouble. And of course I have to watch my king side here, which is a little loose right now. It could pile up on the h-pawn, for example. But I have king h2. I have queen c2, immediately threatening to take there, but it's not a double threat, so it's not a difficult thing to meet. So more likely I'm thinking of playing d4 and e5 and just trying to take over the center. Okay, so he tries to bust out with c5. I can take on passant and I can hold that pawn at least for a move or two. And it undoubles my pawns, right? Where is that light squared bishop going? Bishop goes to e6. I might play d4.
Black resigns.
Threaten d5. Well, that was an early resignation, but I guess he didn't like the look of that one. Oh well, we'll take a look at that. That was kind of an interesting opening, and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.